Hello and welcome to this basic breathing practice for the thoracic breath. So namaste. And if you have not done the previous videos, I would encourage you to do weeks 1 and 2, or basic breathing practice 1 and 2 first. So for the thoracic breathing, the thorax is the upper part of the torso, so the space really from the bottom of the ribs to where we meet the collarbones. So not the collarbones, but the bottom of the ribs to where we meet the collarbones. So the whole of the rib cage. And in thoracic breathing, we are using our breath, directing it into this particular area of the lungs for not comedic effect, but to affect a strong sort of bellows pumping breath. It is the only breath that uses the intercostal muscles really actively. So perhaps to begin with, it's useful just to take a few of our spontaneous breaths to find out where we are. So find yourself a comfortable seat. Thoracic breathing is best done sitting. And it can be in a chair, or it can be on any support. I'm using a bolster today. So a comfortable seat where your knees are lower down than your navel, and you can sit with the spine elongated and the head lifted. Close your eyes or gaze gently downwards. And take a few centering breaths here, observing first the spontaneous breath. And then taking a few slightly deeper breaths. Notice if when you start to breathe deeper, if you create tension in your face, if you suddenly draw your eyebrows towards each other, or clench your jaw, or raise your shoulders, and try to soften that tension and release it where you find it. When you're ready, you can blink your eyes open or raise your eyes. And we're going to take our hands and place them on the rib cage. So here at the sides of the body is quite good. Because it gives us a little bit more space underneath the armpits. And because holding onto our ribs, we can feel if we're breathing into our ribs. So the object of this breath is to try to move the ribs with the breath, without strain, without striving too hard, to move the hands slightly apart as we breathe. So give it a go for a few breaths. Try always to breathe in and out through your nose if you can. And as you breathe, notice if you feel that movement of the ribs as you inhale, and gentle softening of the ribs as you exhale. Keep breathing in this way. What can be useful in addition to that is drawing your abdominal muscles inwards and upwards. So that eliminates the possibility of breathing into the lower part of the lungs, because it encourages a constriction in the abdomen, so the breath can't move down there. And so instead we try and fill that space where the rib cage is, where the lungs live. Take a rest at the end of your next exhalation, just allowing your palms to turn upwards and arms and shoulders to rest as well. If you need to wiggle, you can wiggle, release anything that you need to release, and allow your belly to soften so that your breath can move down a little bit into a softer, more gentle rhythm. What you might have noticed with your thoracic breathing is that it is more forceful, so it requires more effort It is in fact the way that we breathe anytime we are under duress. So, for example, if we are doing something quite physically challenging like cycling or running or swimming, we breathe in this more thoracic way where we encourage the use of the intercostal muscles that lie between the ribs themselves to open and close the rib cage to give the lungs more space to move. And we also breathe in this way when we're angry or upset, and perhaps when we're frustrated or when we're trying to prevent ourselves from doing something that we might regret. So it's interesting to note that if you feel yourself breathing in this way, then you can perhaps bring yourself into a calmer state of mind by softening your abdomen, slowing your breath away from this thoracic breath. But in yoga, we use thoracic breathing for our challenging postures and a lot in our twists when the abdomen is closed. So it's useful to be able to do it. This time, we're going to place the hand anywhere on your rib cage that suits you. I'm going to place mine underneath here and one hand behind us. And this time when we do thoracic breathing, again encouraging that firmness of the belly muscles, drawing inwards and upwards. We're going to try and press the chest out a little bit, so the front of the rib cage and the back of the rib cage. So in your own time, starting some deeper thoracic breaths. And then at the end of your next exhalation, you can release your arms down again, relax your hands. So if you feel it's useful to have something on you to breathe against, you can in fact wrap a belt or a scarf around, or one of those stretchy exercise bands, quite good, around the chest, around the rib cage, and feel your breath move against it. Don't tie it really tight. So feel your breath move against it. And if that's useful, you can do that now. And if you're practiced, you might just want to continue with some thoracic breathing for a few breaths with me, or you might want to place your hands again on your rib cage in some way. So for this practice, we're going to sit tall, soften the shoulders, relax the hands, but with the fingers not in chin mudra. Firm the belly muscles, drawing the abdomen inwards and upwards. And begin breathing into the rib cage. As you breathe as deeply as you like, try to slow it down so you can feel the movement of the ribs. And as you exhale, feel that you're using your, drawing your ribs almost closer together with the effort of the intercostal muscles. Feel how the ribs move out underneath the arms as you inhale. How the back of the body and the front of the rib cage move to expand, to draw that breath in deeper, more fully. And once you feel that you're able to do that, try to soften your breath so that it is more quiet. In our breath practice, we're always aiming to breathe in a soft way, a quiet way, except for a very few breaths which are more forceful and louder. After your next exhalation, allowing your breath to soften back into its natural spontaneous pattern and fall away into silence, softening the belly muscles, the shoulders, the features of the face. Closing your eyes or gazing gently downward and observing the effect of your practice. When you're ready, you can bring the palms together at the center of the chest. Lift your chest and then take your chin only towards your chest. Feel that gentle length down the back of the neck, perhaps between the shoulder blades, across the shoulders. Smile to yourself, releasing tension from the face, the throat, the chest. And when you're ready, raising your head and opening your eyes. That was the thoracic breath. Our next breath is clavicular breathing. Join me for that video. Until then, namaste.